What's up, you guys? TechChucker here, and I'm standing outside Nerdin Out right now. The guys inside that have organized this NerdinOut Con have given me a little bit of time today to go ahead and interview them. So let's go on inside and see what they got to say. What's up, you guys? I'm at Nerdin Out here in Rochester, Minnesota with Brad and Jake. They are organizing a really special event for Rochester. It is the first ever Nerdin Out Con, and I asked these gentlemen to let me drop by and ask them a few questions because this is the first one ever. I wanted to find out a little bit about how this event came to be. But first, we're going to start a little bit about who you guys are. And one of my first questions really is which one of you is Brad? Which one of you is Jake?
I'm Brad.
And
awesome.
I'm Jake.
I knew that, but you guys didn't know that. Alrighty, so starting off, what kind of brought you guys to opening up this store here in Rochester? Tell us a little bit about that.
It was a little random how we even met. We both were going to play on a football team in town here, and I ended up finding his name on a Facebook page that I was on with action figures, and I'm like, hey dude, you're on this? And we were just shooting, I'm not gonna say swear words, but we were just talking at practice.
Sure.
You know, and then it just kind of steamrolled into like, hey, this is our mutual dream.
Sure.
And just kind of went from there. So it was really interesting and fun to kind of get to know each other and realize that we have so much in common.
So how long ago did you actually get the idea of starting Nerdin Out, the store?
You know, I've actually had, for a couple of years now, I had the name already set aside and I had a website because the whole idea of it was actually kind of like an online thing where it was a mix between Facebook and eBay. Just because of the fact that everybody would go into these groups on Facebook to do all this chatting about toys. And I'm like, what if we had something where you didn't have to go into a group, but you just had a website where you could do it all, right? Facebook basically has that market captured, though. Because with groups nowadays, there's so many different groups that who's going to want to go to one website again when you can do it here? Like Jake said, we just kind of talked, and next thing, it's kind of like how my life is, unfortunately, you know, to my extent. It's just, we talk, next thing you know, we're looking, next thing you know, we got a store, and we got to open in 30 days.
Oh, wow.
So this just kind of came to be, and luckily, we both enjoyed this part of it, and Jake took a bigger leap than me to where he actually runs the store, too.
Okay. And what year did you actually open?
Last year.
Yeah, June of last year, so a month and 2 days.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
In
Well,
baby
really
terms,
cool.
that is 14 months.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
14 months. Very good. Very good. What did you guys do? You talked a little bit about meeting up through sports, but what did you guys do before Nerdin Out?
I was a foreman for an underground sprinkler company.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That
Yeah,
transition.
it's relatable.
Yeah. And I was a sales manager in the car industry. So it was just, like Jake said, it was kind of a passion. I collected Lego sets and kind of held on to them to sell them and had other miscellaneous things. And through talking, we just decided that this would be really cool, something that Rochester needed.
Sure. Awesome. All right, so we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about what we're really here for, which is the Nerdin Out Con. It is in September, so it's coming up
Almost
really
2 weeks.
quick.
Yeah.
So, whose idea was it to throw this Comic-Con?
Yeah.
All right, so you're the one to blame.
Yeah.
You're the one to
It's blame. It's actual blame. Yep.
Well, okay, so how did you come about that idea? What was it that kind of drew you to that?
This is probably my favorite part of the story, because this is where Jake and I never saw eye to eye, and luckily he just kind of said, all right, I'm on the ship too, I'm just going to let you lead it. But one day, I don't know what it is. Again, this is my life, right? One day I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna throw this out there on Facebook, and I'm like, this city deserves a lot more than what it's doing. And I threw out there, hey, if a Comic-Con were coming to town, who'd go? You know, and whatever. And all of a sudden, seriously, the support that came back, yeah, we need it, blah, blah, blah. And we had businesses reaching out to us saying they thought about it and they would support it. And next thing you know, I was just like, all right, here we go. And it was literally like that. That's how it went down.
How long have you been kind of planning? Like, you made the commitment. How long has it been to get to this day?
When was it?
When did
February?
you?
It was February. February is
pretty
when
quick.
it happened, and then literally as soon as it happened, I just started doing my research and just kind of hitting it full steam.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, you mentioned that you were wondering what kind of people were gonna, or who was going to show up. Who do you anticipate is going to show up? What kind of age ranges? What's your expectation?
I think from the beginning, I thought the age range would kind of be like how I market on Facebook. And he went from 13 to 65, right?
Sure.
I think you're going to have, actually way younger than that, I think you're going to have kids in strollers just because adults will want to bring them to see what it's like.
Yeah.
I think you'll have younger kids that will actually enjoy it. It's a different culture. It's not something you always see in Rochester. You're going to be able to come out there and you're going to see people in costumes, which I think kids will really get have the fun with, because not every day you get to see Spider-Man or Superman or, you know what I mean? Just on Halloween, it's usually kids. You're going to see grown adults in really cool costumes.
Sure.
And I think you're going to have older generation, like a little older than us even, that used to grow up on this stuff, that will just want to kind of come see it and see what it's all about.
I saw on social media that you were looking to secure some folks that would cosplay for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anybody that has committed to show up? You had mentioned Spider-Man. Is there going to be a Spider-Man there?
There may be.
Maybe.
Also, we're going to have, I don't know if you followed it too much, but we actually have a young gal that got hit pretty hard not too long ago with cancer.
Okay.
So she's 3 years old, and her name is Eleanor, and she's actually going to be our honorary guest for the con. And she's working to try to be there, and one of her favorite people is actually Wonder Woman.
Oh, okay.
So one of our cosplayers that we actually have coming to the show will be cosplaying as Wonder Woman.
That's really
to
cool.
give her a little, So you'll have that, and you'll also have a couple other cosplayers there. So you're going to have another gal that will be coming. Her name is Hannah Eva Cosplay. And then you'll have Leo Camacho, who is actually well known with Disney, and he has a lot of followers online.
That's really cool.
So yeah, we'll have a couple professional cosplayers there. And then I think it's going to be really exciting after that, because we are doing a cosplay contest with cash prizes. I think it'll be really interesting to see how people make their costumes and how well they make them.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that part.
So you talked about the types of people that you're anticipating are going to show up. How many people are you kind of planning for to actually attend?
You know, I think a long time ago we were kind of basing it off other cons that were in the state.
Mm-hmm.
So we were anticipating anywhere from, and I did a wide range. I did like 3,000 to 7,000 is what I was thinking.
Sure.
Our pre-sale tickets have been actually pretty darn good.
Yeah.
So I would say we're going to exceed 3,000. I would be kind of surprised with the lineup that we've been able to put together and all the attractions and everything else that we've been able to just get under one roof for 2 days.
Sure.
I'd be surprised if we don't hit at least 4,000 people.
Well, that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for a first event
Yeah.
in a town like Rochester that I don't think has ever had. I mean, we've had events, certainly,
Yeah.
but not a Comic-Con that I know of
Right,
in Rochester,
right.
which would be really cool.
I think what you're really going to see, because I've done a couple different interviews and a lot of people always ask how big is the nerd community.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to be able to see just how big it is.
Yeah.
So if I was a news outlet or if I was something like that, I'd want to be there.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be, I think, a lot bigger than what a lot of people anticipate.
Sure.
And I think people sleep on the geek nerd
Yep.
all genre, period.
That leads, I think, pretty well into what can people expect? You know, for those people that have never been to a con, don't really know what to expect of that sort of thing. What would they expect to see when they walk in the door?
Everything.
So you see a big variety of vendors, artists, obviously celebrities are going to be there. You'll see cosplay people walking around, just taking pictures with random people. Yeah, you could stuff your face with some pizza too while you're there. Yeah, then there will be panels both days or just the one day?
We'll be doing both days to mix it in. It's the one thing I've learned is it's a lot to stuff into 2 days.
Sure.
It really is. We'll actually have the 501st there doing a panel on what it takes to be in their crew and what they do on a daily basis. We'll actually have the lightsaber or the Saber Legion there.
Okay.
And they'll be doing a tournament with their sabers, and then they'll kind of go through what they do also. So they'll have their own panel. But I think Jake explained that really well, because me personally, I'm putting all the stars aside. I'm putting a lot of the other stuff aside. And if you're just not doing anything that weekend, and I get the Vikings actually have the home opener,
sure.
which some of the Vikings will actually be there.
Oh, okay.
So, which is pretty cool on Saturday. If you don't have much going on and you just want to have a really good time,
sure,
that's what this is for. I think people are reading too much into the stars, or people are reading too much into some of the comic people actually being there, the artists. And I think what you're really missing out on is the opportunity to just go out for a day and have a blast at a great rate. Because sometimes you go there and you go to the fair and you only do a couple different things. This is honestly going to be half a day's worth of seeing things.
Sure.
It's going to be well worth it.
It sounds like there's a lot of cool things. It sounds like it's just a different type of fair. So if people aren't used to a Comic-Con, and you just come for the food, it sounds like would be worth it beyond belief. But then all the other things that they can do, that's pretty cool.
Well, let me ask you this. How long have you lived in Rochester?
Oh, it's probably been 12 years now.
Perfect. How many stars have you been able to meet?
I would say 0.
And that's kind of how I feel, right? I have to go somewhere.
Except for myself.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I have to go somewhere, or I have to actually initiate meeting them. Whereas you're going to be able to be within standing distance of voice artists, movie stars, TV stars. Sure. You're going to be able to be within standing distance of these people. Maybe some people that you've grown up watching, some of the people that you've just really wanted to meet for a long time, you're going to be within standing distance of them. You're going to be able to see some cool attractions as far as like the DeLorean, the Ecto-1, all those different types of vehicles that we saw in movies that we loved, or anything like that. There's going to be so many things to interact with. You're going to be able to shoot a trooper with Nerf guns. You're going to be able to play beanbags with the Ghostbusters. There's so many different things you're going to be able to do there. Honestly, I almost want to do a guarantee, but I'm not going to do a guarantee because I don't do that.
That's quite all right. So you've mentioned some VIPs. Can you throw out a couple of the names that you've got lined up that are going to be showing up that people might be able to get a chance to either meet?
Yeah, the stars, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So the ones confirmed so far, you've got Sean Gunn, who's been in the Guardians of the Galaxy. His brother directs them. And then he's also been in Gilmore Girls. You're actually going to have, we just signed Scout Taylor-Compton, who was in the reboot, the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. She had a huge role as Laurie Strode. She was Michael Myers' sister.
Oh, okay.
And those were actually some of my favorite Halloweens, to be honest with you, just because I think Rob Zombie does a great job with his movies. You're actually going to have, and I keep saying actually, Ming Chen, who's from the Comic Book Ben.
He's the one that I'm most
super
excited
well known, but from what I hear, he's one of the nicest, coolest guys.
Yep,
so you're going to, I guarantee he's going to hold a conversation with you, and he's going to be super nice. All these stars are going to be, from what I understand. You're actually going to, again, here I go. My bad. You're going to be able to meet Damian Clark, who's been the voice of Cell on a lot of the Dragon Ball Z's, which is going to be pretty awesome. Who else we got coming?
We got Jake the Snake Roberts, Leo Camacho, who is the professional cosplay artist. Do you say Damian Clark?
I did say Damian Clark.
Damian Clark, Perfect Cell, Handsome Jack.
Yep, Handsome
We
Jack.
got Kelly, Barbie Blank from ECW, WWE, I believe a little bit of Ring of Honor. I could be wrong. But yeah.
And I saw on the site, Jamie Ray Newman. Is that confirmed?
No. So as I put on there, and I probably, they've been taken off the website. Jamie Ray Newman and Scotty Thompson actually had to cancel because they are filming. Okay. So those two actually canceled, and that's who we actually brought in Kelly for, and then Joshua Michael, who has been on The Walking Dead. He's been a henchman in Game Night, which was actually a really funny movie, and then also Ant-Man and Wasp, the new movie. And then obviously the big one that we took a hit with was Palm Clementif, or Mantis. So she actually, we just found out, canceled last week. That's when we reached out, got Scout, and we're still working on another big name to actually kind of fill her shoes in a sense. Sure. We will actually know this week.
Okay. So that does kind of bring me into what's been the biggest challenge of bringing this con to life.
Maybe that. I mean, we've had so much support as far as people that want to be a part of this, that want to see us succeed, businesses that actually want to help out with bringing this here. But the stars. I mean, I would have thought if they canceled, they would have canceled sooner.
Sure.
And it's been almost last minute, which then puts us in a bind because we've got to start working our tails off again to get more people in, because we want this to make a big deal for everybody, and we understand how many people were there to meet Mantis herself.
Sure.
So for us, it's how do we go after this and do it within our budget and make it a name that people will still really want to see.
Sure.
And the feedback has been tremendous, to be honest with you. So many people have come back saying, it's okay that she's canceled. We're still excited to come. We still want to meet these people. We still want to be there because Rochester deserves this. And that's the biggest thing is Rochester deserves it. We deserve it. And to be honest with you, if it's successful, it will happen again.
So finding the stars, what's that process like? How do you go about actually contacting these folks, finding the contacts for, I'm sure, their representation? What's that process like?
We're pretty fortunate because there's a couple people that run cons in Minnesota that were pretty helpful. They got me in touch with one agent that she's been phenomenal. And kind of from there, it's just been an ongoing process. I've just been Googling and researching and figuring out how to get in touch with certain people. And then once you do, there are certain agents that you want to work with because they just go to bat for you. Like most recently in the last 3 weeks, I've had 3 different agents reach out to me, either saying that they would like their client to come or their clients want to come. So that's been pretty cool, actually. And I've ran into one he's been phenomenal. His name is Mitch, and he has just been nothing short of phenomenal for me. He found out that we lost Palm, and I told him, and he has been reaching out left and right to his people that he knows to try to get somebody. And then I lucked out, and I researched again, found one more, and that's actually who we reached out to try to find our last guest here that we're waiting on an answer for. So it's just been a lot of research, a lot of hounding, a lot of just follow up, and I don't know, it's been a grind. It's definitely been a grind.
Well, that's cool. I think that's something that most people don't really think about or realize how much work it's got to take to get even one person to show up, especially coming to the Midwest, Rochester. It's probably a harder draw than, say, something that's been established for quite a few years.
Let's just say it's a lot harder than drawing in a nurse. Because we have the Mayo Clinic, right? I can't use the Mayo Clinic unless they're probably sick. That's the only reason I'd be able to use Mayo Clinic for our guests. But yeah, there's been some that have been really easy, and then some that have been a little bit tougher, and then you've lost some and you've gained some. It's been a work in progress, and I think people realize how much work we've put in because we do a lot of videos online, and that's the one thing that we're really trying to be different about is allowing our fans or allowing the people that are coming to the con the opportunity to give their feedback and obviously give their input on who they'd like to see. Now, it's not to say that that's the final say. Yep. But we're working hard to try to find the people that they're looking for because they're paying for the tickets. They're paying to see them, and that's what matters to us.
Okay. Well, that's really cool. So, just something that popped into my head with the stars. Have you had any interesting requests for accommodations or anything that you thought were?
Not yet.
Not yet?
I think we've lucked out. Okay. Nobody's said, hey, we need certain yeast products or anything like that. I've actually reached out because I'm trying to appease everybody. So my big thing is when they come here, I want them. The Graham Arena might not be as nice as the Civic Center, but it's a good staple. It's a good place to have an event like this. And so I'm trying to make it where these guests will want to come back. Mm-hmm. So I'm reaching out to their agents to see if they like anything specific because I want to have baskets put on their beds at their hotel rooms of the stuff that they want. I want them to feel like, hey man, these guys really went above and beyond, and this is someplace I'd want to come back.
Maybe that might draw them to talk to their friends that might say, hey, you know what, they treated me great. And if they come calling, you should definitely go next year, which kind of brings me into my last couple of questions, which really is, for the future of NerdinOut Con, what are your hopes, aspirations for the future? I know you haven't done the first year yet, so you don't. Sometimes you don't want to get ahead of yourself. But what's your goal for the overall life of this?
I think just to make it bigger, badder, better. I think the biggest thing is, we've already given it our all to try to make this as best as possible. And there's a lot of struggles. There's a lot of hiccups. There's a lot of negotiating back and forth for everything.
Sure.
So, I mean, the biggest thing is just to make sure that we bring a great product to the city of Rochester.
Sure.
Make sure that it's worth the ticket price or the price for whatever else it is. I never want to bring in, even though people want to see big names, I never want to bring in somebody so big that you can't afford to get their autograph.
Sure.
Because what's the fun in that?
Yeah.
That you get to see them as you pass by them? No. The reason these people come, the reason you want them to come is because you want to meet them. You want to get their autograph. And if you've got to pay $100, $120 just to get their autograph, it's kind of that, is it worth it type thing, And plus what you're paying them just to be here for 2 days.
And have you had a lot of support within the community, be it from the city or you had mentioned some sponsors? If you want to throw some sponsor names out there, I'm not going to put you on the spot to remember everybody, but if you've got any that you wanted to bring up, but I'd like to know if the town is, like city council or anything like that, has reached out to you guys about this at all.
City council hasn't. Sponsors wise, I mean, yeah, I remember them because they're a huge part of it. I mean, you've got the Thirsty Belgian who did the biggest sponsorship, and we thank you every day, John, for that. We really appreciate it. You've got Little Thistle Brewery who just opened up, and we were there the other night and did actually a video that has one of its biggest viewings, and they're doing the after party, so they may not have had a huge part in the sponsorship, but they actually upped it because of their kids, and the fact that they're allowing us to do the after party there and they're shutting it down is pretty freaking awesome. Subaru of Rochester, who has a big part in this, also a big chunk of that. You've also got the Computer Resource Center, you've got Mr. Pizza South, you've got Mike the Carpet Guy, you've got Med City Escape, you've got all these people that have a part in it that have really helped us out. First Alliance Credit Union, that was just here actually.
Sure. Yeah.
All these people that said, yes, let's do it. And the beautiful part about it was, and I get it because you're contributing money to something that you don't know what you're going to get back.
Sure.
And especially with it being a first year con, try selling somebody on that. What's your expectations? What do you feel this is? What do you feel that is?
Yep.
And me going in there going, well, this is what we think, this is what we think, this is what we're basing it off of. It's not based off last year's statistics, which I'll have next year, but these people just went in. They wanted it. They didn't question. They did it, which to me means a lot. I'm the type of person that has high morals and integrity, and to be honest with you, if you're willing to do that this year, you're locked in next year no matter what.
Sure.
If you want it, because this is going to be a big deal. It's going to be a big deal for the city of Rochester actually too, so I'm hoping they'll buy in a little bit more next year. That's the one thing I think the city lacks on, to be honest with you, is helping out and bringing in a different diverse of stuff.
Sure.
I mean, you see it with some of the wrestling shows or some of these bands. We just had Gary V here. He didn't have a whole lot of support except for sponsors and whatever else, and Nick worked his ass off to bring it here. And I've done the same with this, and so has Jake, and it's the point of these people that want to have it here. You hope the city will help out. You hope the city will take notice after this, because I'm going to make sure that they do. Not by making them, but by bringing an amazing show to town.
Awesome. All right, so we're just going to close up here. It's Nerdin Out Con in September. What are the dates?
The 8th and the 9th.
8th and 9th.
Saturday, Sunday.
And what time does it start?
11 a.m.
Okay.
And it goes to 6 p.m. Now, the people that were fortunate enough to get VIP Plus tickets, they have the ability to come in at 10 a.m.
Okay.
So they're going to be able to get and choose, or pick and choose, basically the supplies that all the vendors are going to have there before, because the movie stars won't be there till 11.
Okay.
But 11 to 6, first day, 4:30, the cosplay contest will start. We have an adult and a kids group, so kids, bring your best costumes also, because you definitely have the opportunity to win some money too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So, aside from stopping by here in Rochester at the store, how can people get a hold of you? How could people get tickets or just interact with you, even if they're not in Rochester? How could these guys?
Yeah, great
contact
question. So you can either contact us via Facebook. We have a Nerdin Out Con page, a Nerdin Out page. You can go to www.nerdinoutcon.com and actually get your tickets that way too. Along with it, it'll tell you the vendors that'll be there, the stars that'll be there, and that gets updated weekly. So we're actually updating this week too with kind of what's happened, but those are the places you can reach out to us. You can call the store because we still have tickets. One really cool thing we're doing, just to bring it up, is we're giving away, I don't know if it's going to be 20, 30, 40 tickets, but we actually allowed people to nominate their school and their class. And we're actually going to go hand deliver free NerdinOut Con tickets to that class that ends up getting drawn.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool. That's super awesome. Alrighty, guys, Brad and Jake, thank you so much for taking this time to share with me and my viewers a little bit about Nerdin Out and Nerdin Out Con coming up here in September. Really appreciate it. If you're going to be in town, by all means, stop by the store or go to the con.
For sure.
Right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Yeah, pleasure. Thanks for listening to our story and sharing it.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Alrighty, you guys, that is the wrap up of this. We're going to go ahead and get back into the con. Thank you, everybody. Have a great con.